topics and opinions expressed in the following show are solely those of the host and their guests and not those of W4CY Radio, its employees, or affiliates. We make no recommendations or endorsements for radio show programs, services, or products mentioned on air or on our web. No liability, explicit or implied, shall be extended to W4CY Radio or its employees or affiliates. Any questions or comments should be directed to those show hosts. Thank you for choosing W4CY Radio.
Welcome to the Connected Table Live. We're your hosts, Melanie Young and David Ransom, your insatiably curious culinary couple. We travel the world to bring you the amazing people and places that we visit, the wines we taste, the foods we eat, and the spectacular places where you can stay and be inspired. We want you to expand your palate and explore the world with us. Today, we're taking you to Vesuvius. That's right, Mount Vesuvius, the largest volcano in Europe and in the region of Campania, which is in southern Italy. You can see the background behind me. That is Vesuvius. And we're going to go to talk about Vesuvius wines with a wonderful family-run winery that David and I recently visited when we were there for Campania Stories, which is a wonderful program to educate writers like us on the wines of Vesuvius. The winery is called Cantina del Vesuvio, and it was founded in 1930 by the Russo family. And we'll be speaking with Giovanni Russo shortly. But this photo behind David and I doesn't do this winery justice. So Giovanni has graciously provided a brief video so that you feel that you can be at Cantina del Vesuvio with us. So we're going to show the video and then start the conversation. So welcome to the Connected Table Live.
A piece of paradise fell into the Gulf of Naples when Lucifer was expelled. Christ, saddened by the loss of the one who had been the best angel, wept. Where his tears fell, vines were born. Cantina del Vesuvio was created in 1930 in the shadows of Mount Vesuvio. The vines are rooted in dark and porous Slavic soil. We were among the first wineries in southern Italy to offer daily tours and tastings, and today we are one of the most popular, both for the quality of our wines and the gorgeous scenery. Our expert guide will lead you through our 16 hectares of vineyards, pointing out the different grape varieties and cultivation methods we use here on the slopes of Mount Vesuvius. Then it's off to the clubhouse for lunch, overlooking the rolling vineyards and shimmering Mediterranean. Visit Cantina del Vesuvio and see how our family has worked these hills every day since 1948 to create a winery which combines the rigors of organic production with the warmth of Italian hospitality.
Wow, I feel like I'm back at Cantina del Vesuvio.
I'm homesick.
I am, and I got to just
For
before
Vesuvio.
we start talking with Giovanni. We sent some very dear friends there recently, and they have raved about it. This is a place that is so welcoming, and we really do get the flavors of Vesuvio, which again is in Campania. We are in southern Italy. And Giovanni Russo, welcome to the Connected Table.
Buongiorno. Thank you so much for your invite. I'm very happy to stay here with you tonight.
Well, we're thrilled to have you on the show. We had such a lovely time when we visited back in May, wasn't it, Melanie?
Yeah.
During Campania Stories, the press event for the world press to come and taste the new vintages and get acclimated to the region's wines, etc. We've been 3 times now to the Campania Stories, but it was our first time to Cantina del Vesuvio, so it was really nice to be able to visit with you and learn more about your family and learn more about your wines. Why don't we kind of take it back to the beginning of Cantina del Vesuvio, Giovanni, and why don't you tell us a little bit about how the winery got started, just where it is on the slopes of Vesuvius, and in relation to Naples as well.
Yes, so thank you once again for your invite. I'm Giovanni, 3rd generation of the Russo family. My grandfather started this business in 1930. As you can imagine, it was really different from today. There was a war and also a Vesuvius eruption into this piece of time than from when my grandfather started. He started with only 3 hectares, producing wine only for the family use and locals around him. Then he improved his business, becoming one of the bigger producer of Lacrima Christi of Mount Vesuvius, exporting our wines to Naples by horses and carriage in the 1948 for the first time, right after the Second World War, the last eruption of Vesuvius in 1944. And he told me that to export our wines from here to Naples, it took around 6 hours by horses and carriage. Today, to go from here to Naples, we only need 20 minutes of car with the highway. You can imagine how difficult it was living in this area at that time. Then, year by year, he bought new piece of lands, and especially thanks to my father, who decided around 30 years ago to abandon the distribution, the selling to restaurant and supermarket. He said, stop, I don't want to do that anymore. I want to produce less, focus the attention on the quality, producing organic Vesuvius wines. So he decided to close the door to this kind of business and open the door to the tourists of this area, because we are not only on Mount Vesuvius, but near Pompeii, Amalfi Coast, Sorrento Peninsula. We have a very huge quantity of visitors coming in this area every day and visiting us every day. Most of them are coming from US, Canada, Northern Europe. That's why year by year we have been always better organized to offer wine tastings, tours, and also deliveries of our products door to door to our visitors. So today the main characteristic of our winery is that you cannot find our wines anywhere else if not here at our winery. This was a very hard choice 30 years ago. All the producers of Mount Vesuvius were looking at my father as a crazy man. Then the situation changed, and now all the producers of Mount Vesuvius are doing what we started a lot of time ago. And this is good because doing wine tourism, producing less today and better is the future. The quality is the future. Also to fight climate change, problems of any kind, tariffs. This is the way to fight them, to be strong, even if you are a small family owned winery like we are.
I'm curious, because we have been to Vesuvius. We've met with many of the family wineries, and just for everyone watching and listening, Vesuvius is family wineries. I mean, it's a very large area, but the family wineries are usually very small. You've got like 16 hectares, right?
We have 16 hectares. We recently bought a few more hectares, but not for the wine production, but for the olive oil production. We are investing a lot in the recent years on the olive oil, extra virgin olive oil. Then the 16 hectares we grow as vineyard are mostly for 3 different varieties. Above all, Capretone and Piedirosso. They are local varieties you can find only here on Mount Vesuvius. Capretone is the white grape and Piedirosso is the red grape. They were imported by Roman people over 2,500 years ago from Greece. They planted these vines around Pompeii here on Vesuvius because they look that the soil was perfect for the cultivation of vines. But it's not only for vines, for everything you cultivate in this area. And they exported this wine from Pompeii all over the Roman Empire. And so you can imagine that how lucky we are to still have the same variety of grapes of 2,000 years ago. We are one of the fewest DOC who preserve very ancient and autochthonous varieties. The third grape we grow is a red one, is Aglianico. Aglianico, we consider it like the father of all red grapes of Campania region. We use Aglianico to produce a sparkling rosé wine, the one you tasted at your entrance here at winery. We call it Capa Fresca. And we also use Aglianico to make a blend with Piedi Rosso for only one wine, the Riserva, which is a special red wine.
Before we get into your wines and the specialness of Lacrima Christi, which is referenced in the video, let's talk a little bit about location, because many people may have not visited Mount Vesuvius. It's actually two areas. It's Summa Vesuvius, because there's two conical areas, one born from the other. Why don't you talk about that? Because there are wineries on the North Summa side and then many wineries on the south side. Talk about that geological or geographical distinction and how they're different. For everyone listening, viewing, there's a national park there where you can go hiking, which we did. We actually went up to see a crater.
Yes, the good things, the interesting things of a volcano, and Vesuvius particularly because of its shape, is the conical shape. Mm-hmm. So everywhere you are, even if you produce the same wine, Lacrima Christi, using the same grapes, you have always different characteristics because of the climate, because of the sun exposition, because of many factors. The Mont Somma, it's the very prehistorical part of the volcano, the one who was considered the entire volcano during the eruption of 79 before Christ. Because then, with that eruption who destroyed the Pompeii, the Mont Somma, the Vesuvius, collapsed inside itself. Then, with the other eruptions, after that, the Vesuvius were slowly waking up from the inside. That's why we have Vesuvius and Monte Somma on the northern part of the area. Cantina del Vesuvio is located on the southeast side, overlooking the Gulf of Naples. Not because it's our winery, but we think we have the best exposition in terms of landscape for sure. Then everyone can say if the wine is better in the northern part or the southern part, but there isn't a better wine. It's a subjective things. It depends on many factors. Here we are overlooking the Gulf of Naples, the peninsula of Sorrento. I'm sorry, it's quite late, so otherwise I would turn the desktop to show you something. And we also are overlooking the Capri Island. And this is very important for us because the winery is essentially in the middle between the volcano and the sea at 350 meters on the sea level. And this is perfect for the cultivation. It's perfect for us that we are organic. We must be honest, it's very easy for us to respect the organic regulation and certification because there is always a breeze from the sea and from the mountain, making sure that the vegetables part, the vines are very dry. So without humidity, it's hard for the bacteria and illness to attack. And this makes our wine very easy to produce under this point of view. And we are very happy and proud of that. Of course, what makes unique these products is above all the soil. We are on a volcanic soil made of ashes, pumice, lava, and a lot of mineral, a lot of potassium. This gives a lot of strength to the cultivation. Other than mines, Vesuvius is very well known for piennolo tomato, for apricots, and many other cultivation. But what makes them very special is the soil.
You know, Melanie, we were the shot behind us in this video right now is that vineyard at Cantina del Vesuvio, and it really is basically like crushed up lava. It's very porous, which is a good thing in a lot of ways because it provides good drainage for the grapes, and also phylloxera can't grow in it, which is another good thing. So a lot of the original rootstocks are still in play on Vesuvius, and especially in this region. Let's talk about Lacrima Christi, the wine, Giovanni, because Lacrima Christi is a wine. It's not a grape, and it's made from the grapes that you grow there. But let's talk about it, a little bit of its history, and then the grapes used to make it.
Lacrima Christi means, translated, tears of Christ, coming from Latin. Tears of Christ, why? Because there is a legend who says that Christ was here on Mount Vesuvius overlooking at this beautiful part of the world, actually, with this landscape and so many nice things. So he recognized this as a part of paradise who was stolen by Lucifer when he was sent off from the paradise. So he moved, and from his tears were born the Lacrima Christi vines. Of course, this is only a legend. Lacrima Christi is the DOC, the crew, the best product, part of the Vesuvius DOP consortium. So it's the best you can find here on Vesuvius, and to produce Lacrima Christi, you must use a certain percentage of the grapes I've been mentioning before, Capretone and Piedirosso. The regulations say at least 70%. Then wineries are allowed to use other grapes like Aglianico for the reds or Falanghina for the whites and a few other grapes. But here at Cantina di Vesuvio, except for the Riserva I mentioned before, we go in the bottle with 100% of our autochthon indigenous grapes, Capretone and Piedirosso. The reason is that we want to put in the glass as much as possible of the terroir, of what people are looking and feeling when they are here. They look around themselves, they can smell, they can touch the ground, and when they drink our wines, they must feel that sensation, even if they are in US or somewhere else in the world. And that's why we keep this tradition and this idea above all.
And Cantina del Vesuvio exclusively makes, with the exception of the Caprofresco sparkling, the Spumante Rosé from Aglianico, you exclusively produce Lacrima Christi. You do a Bianco, a Rosato, and a Russo. And then I think a Pasito, which is unusual for this area. See? Don't other wineries make a lot of other kinds of products, or do most of the wineries focus only on Lacrima Christi?
Other wineries also produce Pompeiano EGT, which is a sub-denomination, because you must know that to produce Lacrima Christi, you can only use grapes from the National Park of Vesuvius, only from certain zone inside the National Park of Vesuvius. Then you can still use grapes coming from the entire province of Naples to produce Pompeiano, which is, as I told you, a sub-denomination. Also Vesuvio DOC, because we have two denominations, Lacrima Christi above all, Vesuvio DOC and Pompeiano then. But we only focus our attention on the best Lacrima Christi, because as a family we don't want to do many things. We try to keep the production and the offer as easier, simple, also to understand as possible, and we just want to do less and better. Honestly, this is what we want.
So, just to be clear, Lacrima Christi can only be produced in the DO, which is only in the south side of Vesuvius, correct? In a specific sub-area?
There is a map, actually, but yes, mostly in the southern side. There are still part in the northern side, but mostly yes, in the southern side to produce Lacrima Christi.
And and there is a required DOC guidelines for producing them, as you said, as well. So it's very specific to the region and to the guidelines of production and to the grapes, which are the local grapes, Capratoni, Côte de Volpe,
Imagine to produce Lacrima Christi, we must ask also the certification from the ministry. They take some samples, they taste it, they do some analysis, and then they approve to us we are producing Lacrima Christi. Then they give us the ministerial label on the neck of the bottle, which certified it's a DOC Lacrima Christi.
So Rosso, which is the grape used to make the Rosato, can tell us about the grape because it is local to the area, and can it be used for other kinds of wines like IGT Pompeo, or is it only made for used for Lacrima Christi?
It can be used for any of these three denominations I mentioned. It's a choice of the winery. But of course, if I'm here in Trecase, into the National Park of Vesuvius, into the red zone, the most centric about the denomination, and I have some Piedirosso in my vineyard, I want to produce the Lacrima Christi, not the Pompeiano. So yes, Piedirosso, which means perepalum in Neapolitan, it's the foot of a kind of bird we have in this area. Yes,
right.
And that's why it's called like that. It's a very unique grapes because it doesn't give you a lot of production. It's a very low production in terms of yield, and but it gives you a lot of terroir with notes with volcanic notes like black stone. Black pepper, wet stone, stuff like that to remind you to this area.
I found the Lacrima Christi and the Piedirosso to be a really fascinating wine. It's very unique. Had it had lovely body to it. Had a great acidity to it, and just a very nice wine. And I'm assuming, although the vintages that we tasted were not very old, I think the oldest one we tasted was a 2017. I think it's got a real ability to age as well. Is that right, Giovanni?
Absolutely, yes. I must be honest. The reason why we don't have really old vintages is because everything goes sold out. So at a certain point, as a company, you must decide: do I sell it or I keep it? So
I know.
Honestly, we have been selling everything because the people were asking for, and but we hope in the future to have the opportunity to start keeping some bottles away, also to taste them in the future. I have bottles at home, very old wines from my years of birth, which my father took away, that are very good, and from 1996, but also wines from 2006, very good vintages, and I can say it preserves very well.
You know, I have a question for you, Giovanni. The Lacrima Christi red and white both have to have Capratone and Piedirosso in them respectively, or in reverse, shall we say. You make it from 100% each wine, 100% Piedirosso for the red, 100% Capratone for the white. Can you use a blending grape in there if you want to, or does it have to be 100%?
It's allowed, as I told you before, it's allowed to use over 30% of a blending grape. For example, in the red, most of the wineries had Aglianico, but Aglianico has a very particular tannin, and in our opinion makes the wine too similar to other wines from Campania region. We want a wine which must not be strong, like many people ask, but must be genuine and must represent the place, the location we own at 100%, not at 70%. So that's why we don't blend none of our wines except for the Riserva. The Riserva is a blend of Piedi Rosso 80% and Aglianico only 20%. The reason we use Aglianico only in this situation is because Aglianico tannin gives a lot of longevity to the wine. So we have a Riserva of over 20-30 years, and the reason why they are in very good condition, it's because of the Aglianico. Aglianico has these characteristics.
Melanie, that's the wine.
It's beautiful wine. We tasted it.
Is the one. The Reserve is the one that's the most biggest seller in the American market too.
I must say, unfortunately, maybe because I prefer the others, but they are more representative. But wine is subjective. Wine depends on many things. The food you are pairing with. In Italy, we only drink wine if paired with food. I know in US, in other parts of the world, you can drink also wine with empty stomach. It's not for Italian. But we have to pair wine with food. Wine depends also on the person you are drinking with. Wine depends on your mood that day. Wine depends of the period of the year. If you are in summer, in winter, it depends on the time of the day, of many things. So you can choose the wine, and you may like a wine more than another, according with the many things. In US, you drink a lot of Riserva, I must say. You may probably eat a lot of meat. You have very cold winters, and I must expect something like that.
That said, though, white wines are doing very well here. I have a hunch it's due to the warmer weather, climate change. People are drinking more white wine. I have a lot of really good friends who are white wine drinkers. And they tend to be I'll have a Chardonnay people or I'll have a Sauvignon people. So let's talk about the Lagrima Christi Bianco and the Capratone and explain what the characteristics are to someone that may not be familiar with it, but that they're a Chardonnay drinker or a Sauvignon Blanc drinker or a Pinot Grigio drinker.
Yeah. The white wines, our Lagrima Christi whites, actually we produce two different white Lagrima Christi, a classic and a superior, both made with 100% of Capratone grape, but with different selection. We have riper grape, unriper grape. We have lower alcohol content or higher alcohol content with the superior and longer aging in tanks. But the characteristics of these wines is that they represent more than others the idea of minerality. They look like salty on the palate because of the soil, of the potassium in the soil. They will have a very good acidity as well, not only because of the soil, but also because of the exposition to the sea. The acidity of these wines will make your mouth watering a lot, asking to drink more wine or to eat more. And this was what makes them very unique under this point of view.
These are wines that are perfect for shellfish and some cheeses and salads, and the lighter fare, just fabulous.
We eat a lot of seafood, shellfish, and we love to pair it with that. But of course, cheeses are perfect, or vegetables as well. We have eggplant parmigiana here, eggplant, many things to pair with.
I know. I think actually Campania is the only place where I eat eggplant. Campania in Sicily. We never eat it here in the United States because we don't know how to prepare it, which actually is a great segue, because one of the most impressive things, besides the wines and this incredible setting, is that Cantina del Vesuvio has a very strong hospitality program. We were able to receive part of that when we were there. First of all, you just sit there and you've got Vesuvius behind you and the sea in front of you. So it's just perfect setting. Talk us through some of the different visitor experiences that you offer. And here you can, again, talk about the foods at the same time as you pair them.
Yes. Actually, we offer a very easy experience, not many things to make people difficult to choose. We try to be synthetic and direct. The main experience we offer is our wine tasting with lunch. It's an experience which includes a guided tour of the vineyard and the cellar, of course, with a glass of sparkling rosé wine. And after the tour and the visits, wine tasting of 5-6 course wine tasting paired with a typical light lunch of the area. There is an appetizer with salami, cheese, perfect to pair with our wines, bruschetta with the piennolo tomato, casatiello, our traditional bread. Then there is pasta, spaghetti, and the main spaghetti with the piennolo tomato sauce from Vesuvius. And there's dessert pastia napoletana. It's a fixed menu. It's always like that since 30 years. And it's a perfect menu to pair our wines, also the extra virgin olive oil and the red wine vinegar condiment we produce. Other than this experience, we also offer a cooking class experience. Esther, my stepmother, takes care of the cooking classes directly in our villa where we live. So people are always doing a tour of the vineyard and the cellar, and then they move to our villa to cook, eat, and drink our wines and what they have been cooking.
That's an incredible experience. And just, we brought home that red wine vinegar. Donna Esther is what you call it. It is phenomenal. Just how would you recommend using that back here in the United States? Because we're still trying to decide.
Actually, let me say that this is a red wine vinegar condiment. Is not to confuse like a balsamic vinegar. It's totally different. The reason why it's a condiment you can use on everything, starting from seafood, grilled food, vegetables, white meat. In the summer, I also put it on vanilla ice cream or banana. Yes, you should try. It's so unique. But what makes unique this product is that it's a very natural product, produced recycling the skin of our red grapes. After using them for the wine fermentation, we still have the skin. We send them to the vinegar factory, who has a special machine to concentrate, age them in the barrel for a few months, and then we have this vinegar condiment, and the consistency is very thick and very sweet at the same time, but there are no sugar added. It's the sugar, the glucosium part of the skin of the red grapes, Piedi Rosso and Aglianico. We try to recycle everything to be sustainable as much as possible, other than organic here, so we don't waste anything. With the white skin, we produce grappa as well, the traditional Italian digestive. So we are, I think, very close to 100% sustainability.
It's almost like if I could liken it to some other type of thing, it would be like a balsamic reduction, but it's not made with those grapes. And it's just a lovely, rich, kind of almost syrupy, delicious condiment. The Piennolo tomatoes are unique to this area as well, and you grow some as well. Tell us about those. They're kind of like a grape tomato, right?
Yes, actually, I invite you to Google Piennolo tomatoes to see the shape, the special shape of this Piennolo. It's a unique variety of tomato grown here on Vesuvius. We, of course, produce some, but not near the vineyard, because tomato production and vineyard are not going well together. They must.
Really?
Yes. Nature is unique. Tomato is toxic for the vineyard. Did you know? That's why we produce 10 minutes away from here, also with the help of another old historical producer who my grandfather has been working with as well. And it's so rare to find. It's not exported anywhere. We have to book it at least a year in advance for the next season to make sure we have enough. And it's a very sweet tomato. In fact, sweet and acid. When people are here tasting our pasta with piennolo tomato, especially Americans, they ask us for cheese, because they want to put cheese on sauce, pasta, it's common for them. We stop them. We say, no, if you want to keep eating the pasta, you must eat Italian style, exactly pasta with piano tomatoes, because if you put cheese on the piano tomatoes, you will destroy the tomato acidity and the characteristics, the flour and the sweetness.
Yeah, Americans put cheese on everything because the vegetables are so flavorless here. I can't even begin to tell you. So these pianoli, pomodoro pianoli, are so sweet and have such an amazing flavor to them. And then we come back to the United States, and then there's cherry tomatoes, which have no flavor, and we have to cook them to get any flavor out of them. So it is,
and they're mass produced in Mexico, anyways.
Yeah. So we agree. Don't start salting and peppering and cheesing your pasta in Italy. That's to eat it the way the Italians do.
Yeah.
It must make you crazy.
one last thing, if you literally can't get enough and you want to spend more time with you and the family and the folks at the winery, you offer cooking classes as well. So tell us a little bit about that.
Alors, this is a unique experience. Esther, as I told you, my stepmother, she has been doing cooking classes for many years in Capri. She's originally from Capri Island. So she has been hosting people at his house in Capri, doing cooking classes and so on. Then my father met Esther around 15 years ago. They became partners, and he brought Esther here on Mount Vesuvius. It was hard at the beginning for her to come here on Mount Vesuvius. She was from Capri. You can imagine the difference. She was able to replicate her know-how here at winery with have cooking classes using fresh ingredients from our gardens, from our vineyard, and making a very unique experience where people are able to essentially cook and eat what they've been cooking, and of course pay with wines. It's a very nice experience. I would invite you in the future, if you are in the area, to spend more time here and do something like that, or anybody is listening us and coming in the area, and you have a few hours, 3 hours to spend, please come for the cooking class. If you have less time, a few hours, 1 hour enough, come for the regular wine tasting with lunch. We know people are always in rush here because there are many places to visit, Pompeii, Escurial, Vesuvius. So they are always asking us to be very fast. Then when they arrive here, they say, no, I don't want to go in the next step. I want to stay here hours and enjoy everything, the food, the wine, the view, and so on.
I do want to agree with you on that, Giovanni. I have friends, and they tell me their plans to visit Italy, whether it's Sicily or Campania, and they're going to stop over in Sorrento and stop over here and stop up here. And I'm like, wait a minute. Do it Italian style. There's something called la dolce far niente. And that's what you have to do. You have to savor the time and the luxury of time. That's how the Italians, I truly believe that's how the Italians stay so healthy and have long lives. They do la dolce far niente. They don't rush through things. Too many Americans have to check off. And we met a lot of Americans, David, and they were doing the grand tour.
Very
and they
true.
were like 2 days here, or 2 days here, and 1 day here. We had friends, and they were speed driving through Sicily. I'm like, really? And Campania is large.
First of all, it's not possible.
Many regions. So my advice would be pick an area and just go to that area. I mean, just Vesuvius alone has so many beautiful attractions. There's the wineries and visiting Cantina del Vesuvio. There's the Parco. David and I hiked up to the crater. There's Pompeii. There's Ercolino and a whole nother set of ruins that we didn't even get to go see. Yeah. And you take your time and immerse. It's not worth the rush, is it?
I agree. I totally agree with you. Thank you for saying that.
I believe it all the time. When we go on these trips, we're on an itinerary, but I've told David from now on, when we go, we're going to take time at the end to do a little la dolce far niente of our own, because it just adds that sweetness to the trip. and is so amazingly special. Now, I have a question for you, and I know that I want to make sure our listeners and viewers know that it's cantina.vesuvio.it. You ship the wines, so you have to order the wines and the wonderful Donna Esther and the olive oil available, and you direct ship. These are not wines you'll go to your local package store and get. So that's the important experiential part of getting to know Giovanni and visiting. You can literally establish a relationship with. You also do a pasito, and I was wondering if you do any other products. Because your pasito was fabulous.
Passito is a very exclusive production. You were lucky to taste it when you came here because it's almost sold out. We produce around 450 bottles, 500 bottles per year, because to produce Passito, we only use a small old style press, with a certain quantity limit. So after that capacity, we're not able to produce more. And Passito, in this case, is made with capretone and a little bit of Falanghina. Falanghina is also another very common white grape around here in Campania region. In this case, we need the Falanghina as well as the Riserva Nizzaglianico to give a certain balance and structure, because to keep a structure of a desert wine is very hard, trying to make it sweet, but not too much to be like a grape juice. I mean, it must show complexity, at the same time show local terroir characteristics. It's very hard to make a Passito from who can show you, who can explain the terroir and not making it with an international flavor.
This pasito really is like drinking nectar of the gods. I had notes of orange blossom. There's honeysuckle, figs. It's beautiful. You know, we should have just brought one and brought it home, David, because really to get a pasito, to have a pasito from any producer is special because they are a limited quantity. And as Giovanni said, there's like 400 bottles, you know, when it's a good time to produce them. It's just beautiful. And I know that a lot of people drink pasito for dessert, and that's great. To me, it is the dessert. I don't need anything with it. I just have it. Maybe a little biscotti or something, but it's just pure nectar. Do you also do, other than olive oil and the Donna Esther, do you do any other types of food that you sell?
Actually, we just started a few weeks ago with honey, because we start a collaboration with a local person from Trecase here, who installed 12 beehives in our vineyard. Each one hosts over 100,000 bees, and we start to produce honey from our vineyard. Bees in the vineyard is very important for many things, for pollination and the health of our property under the vegetable point of view. And at the same time, they give us this nectar, the honey, and it's a very extremely limited production. So we are not selling that online neither as well, but only allowing people coming here to taste it. And if they want to buy a small jug, they can. But it's very limited. But as I told you before, we are investing a lot on the extra virgin olive oil. In the future, we'll have a few more extra virgin olive oil type varieties as well. So because the extra virgin olive oil, as well as the wine, are products who can transfer informations on the palate, and also the olive oil is a very healthy product with a lot of polyphenols, antioxidant. Is good. I eat a spoon of extra virgin olive oil every day before breakfast, and this is very good for the health for many reasons. We love to invest in the extra virgin olive oil.
Yeah, we use a lot of. In fact, when we go to Italy, that's all we bring back, or like a Donna Esther, a product that is so special that we know we can't get it here. We also brought back. I know that you don't produce it, but the the consortio had these amazing wine-soaked chestnuts from Vesuvio that were phenomenal, right, David?
Yes, they were absolutely delicious. We have actually a jar in the cupboard right now.
Yeah, there was one that
They
was
were
soaked in
fabulous.
the red wine and the white wine, and they were amazing. I mean, the food in this area is just incredible. Some of my favorite food.
Yes,
Don't tell
absolutely.
anybody else that.
We are in the between of Naples and the peninsula of Sorrento and Amalfi Coast, so you can imagine how is the influence about food in this area. And we also keep very old tradition from this area only, plus the other areas around us. So it's a lot of stuff.
Well, we can't wait to come back and visit, because it really is. Campania is just jaw-dropping, region by region by region. And we're only talking about one area, but many people only go to the Amalfi Coast, and they never go anywhere else. They may pop over to Pompeii, but we want everybody to think about taking the time to go visit the wineries of Vesuvius and tasting these very unique wines. And I think, Cantina, we've visited, I think, 6 wineries in our 2 trips. I think Cantina del Vesuvio offers probably one of the most satisfying wine experiences, because you get this incredible, thoughtfully prepared lunch in this extraordinary setting. But everyone needs to take the time and do this, and don't rush the trip, because you'll have a better experience as a result.
Totally agree.
And I want to point out before we wrap up is that because you do not sell in stores, for the American visitors that come and visit you at the winery and want to have it at home, you actually keep a warehouse in the United States with your wines. So you actually ship from the United States to their home when they buy it at the winery. So that's a really key point, because they don't have to wait a long time for it to show up, and it's already gone through the shipping shock, shall we say.
Yes. It's not only because so they don't need to wait a lot of time, not only because the shipping costs are actually nothing compared to ship the wine from here, Italy, to the US. In fact, for the visitors, we offer free shipping if they buy wine.
Free?
Yes, free shipping. Because shipping wine by container twice a year from here to the US to the warehouse, instead of shipping single shipments from here to the US, is much more cheaper. And at the same time, the most important thing is the wine is much more protected, because when we ship from here to the US, the container is refrigerated all the time, and we can sleep of 100 cushions that the wine will be delivered in perfect condition. This is also great for us, because we don't need to add sulfites. And we also are approved organic from the American authority, other than the Italian European authority. The American authority, through the FDA, here they check as well together with the local authority, and they give us the organic production. They check in the American warehouse, and they confirm the organic production. We are one of the few wineries where, if you ship our wines, you will receive the American label approved with our organic certification. Most of the other wineries, when they ship to America, they use a conventional label, even if they are organic, because it's very, very hard to get all these certifications in the US. But thanks to our organization, to our logistic organization, it's much easier for us.
Those are great points too, Melanie.
Yeah. Well, Giovanni, we've loved talking with you. Gosh, this has been great.
Thank you.
It's been wonderful. So for those interested in booking a visit, if you're going to Naples and you want to visit the winery, again, it's cantinadelvesuvio.it. And there is an English component to the website. I'm on it right now. And you can book a reservation and go visit them there. You can also purchase the wine from that site as well.
So start booking your trip. Well, thank you again, Giovanni Russo. We appreciate your time. You've been listening.
Thank you so much for inviting us. I hope to see you and your followers here at Winery. For the one listening, if you are coming, let me know when you come. You'll be listening this podcast, and I'm always here. So you will find me, my wife, my father, my stepmother. You will always find a member of the family. This makes your experience and also our experience with you very unique. And I hope to see you soon here. Thank you so much.
Thank
Great.
you.
Thank you very much.
You've been listening to the Connected Table Live with Melanie Young and David Ransom. We hope you've enjoyed this wonderful show and you start making some plans to go visit Campania and Cantina del Vesuvio. We want you to always expand your palate, step out of your comfort zone, and come eat, drink, explore, and inspire with us. Follow us at the Connected Table on Instagram. You can hear all our shows on more than 65 podcast channels on this station, W4CY, and the Connected Table TV. And as always, we want to remind you to stay insatiably curious. Grazie.
Ciao.